Hello and welcome to Inside the Stage Door. Today's guest is an award-winning actor and a comedian and an all-round nice guy. Drum roll, please. Please welcome to Inside the Stage Door, Mr. Brendan Cooney.
Hello, James.
Good to see you. Brendan, I'm just going to start with a few quotes, if I may. Of course, there is the potent performance of Brendan Cooney as Hideaway Henry. I normally don't like to draw comparisons, but Brendan Cooney really stands out as a consummate performer. I can't help drawing comparisons between Brendan and the late great Robin Williams. They both possess that natural talent for displaying strength, insensitivity and vulnerability with many moments of brilliantly timed humour. Brendan, what goes through your mind when you hear that?
Very humbled to be even considered to be anything like Robin Williams, who to me was an absolute genius in many, many ways.
Good. Yeah, well, clearly there's a bit of truth to those reviews. Brendan, how long have you been an actor for?
Okay, so I started acting in 1984. I was about 14 and went through till I was, say, 20, and then I stopped for about 18 years and started back in late 2007, and I haven't stopped since.
And can I ask, why did you start acting? What got you into it?
I was dancing with Kerry Ann Wilkinson's dance school. My sister was a dancer. She's a bit younger than me, but she was dancing, and I got into it doing jazz, tap, ballet. And they needed munchkins at the Northern Light Theatre Company for Wizard of Oz in 1984, and they came to the ballet school and said, can we use the kids? I was there, and I never looked back after that. I went on stage as a munchkin and absolutely loved it.
Fantastic. So from a munchkin to all the other characters you play, that's a good start. Brendan, are you a trained actor?
No.
So you're naturally gifted?
I would say naturally gifted. I learn on the job. Sometimes when you go to do an audition for a professional job, they'll ask you about your training, and I usually write that, learning on the job.
Right.
I learn from the best. I've watched you. I've watched all, my friends who are good actors, and I take little bits of everybody and add it to my own ability, as we call it, and I give it a good go. Right.
And what's your process as an actor? How do you approach a role, and how do you inhabit a character's skin?
Oh, that's definitely changed over the years because, to be honest, I suppose early on I never thought about those things. I just went and did stuff. I never really thought about character until maybe 5-6 years ago. Started doing some plays, working with people like Joe Hartog as director, who, obviously people that know him from Flinders Drama, they get you to, particularly him, he got me to think differently. And then I started working with other directors as well, and they also get you to think about those things. Joe tends to break down a whole play into sections, talks about character, talks about your thought processes at this moment in this, part of the play.
Yeah.
And it really changed my thought process on how to, become a better actor.
Okay.
Nowadays, I probably, how do I approach it? I tend to read the script a couple of times, and then while I'm learning lines, I'm working out, through people like Joe, and I'm thinking about why I'm saying those lines and trying to develop them. A lot of the times you will change that when you get to to working with someone else, because they'll deliver a line to you. It's very differently to what you thought they might.
Yeah.
So I try and be natural as possible.
Right. Yeah. So a nice organic approach to acting.
I think so. I think it's one of the best ways to go. I mean, I talk to a lot of actors who get right into their characters and, get deep in there. And sometimes I think you can go a little bit too far. But if it works for people, it's good.
Yeah, right. Thanks, mate. And Brendan, what's been your favourite role or production, and why?
I thoroughly enjoyed Hairspray. Probably because I got to work with the great David Gauchi, and the lovely Michelle Davey and a lot of other great actors. But it was my first big role back as a in a musical, and it was a good role. Brilliant Traces last year. I had a really good run with that and really enjoyed that character. I thoroughly enjoyed Nathan Detroit in Guys and Dolls.
Yes.
I think it's one of the times where I did try and embody the character. I used to stand on the stage and just rock back and forth before I'd have to go on stage because I had to go on quickly. So I'd be preparing myself and I'd just rush out on stage. And that was the character.
Yeah.
And, you get the accent, you've got to get everything right just before you go out there, so you're sort of practicing. And, it was a great role to do, though, Nathan Detroit. Great show.
Well, you were particularly very enjoyable in the part, and it was a memorable production for sure. Brendan, you've worked with most of the major theatre companies in Adelaide. Would you say that Nathan has been your most memorable performance? Have there been others?
Up Pompeii with Titri Players, Hairspray, and plays over the last few years that have been done. I really enjoyed Men Behaving Badly, to embody that character and enjoy hearing people laughing at, silliness and saying to you afterwards, you were like the guy that was on the team, like in the show, but you weren't him. That, to me, was a compliment. If I could be like him but not be him, then I was, doing a good job.
Now, you mentioned working with Joe Hartog at the Bakehouse Theatre last year in the acclaimed Brilliant Traces. Could you share with our viewers what that play was about and how the experience was for you?
Sure. So probably actually during Men Behaving Badly or just before, I had seen Crystal Brock in a play, and we had a chat, and I said, I'd love to work with you. She came to me and said, look, I've got this play, Brilliant Traces, would you like to do it? And I said, sure. And we tried to speak to a few directors, and nothing came about for that show. So I never heard from Crystal. We'd never really talked. There's a lot of other things happening. You get busy doing other things. Never heard from her. And I was doing another show with Joe last year, and Crystal was in it. And the script for Brilliant Traces appeared on the table. And one of the other ladies, I was helping out, Tasha, she had the script and she was reading it. I said, where'd you get that from? And she said, Joe and Crystal are doing that. I said, are they? Really? So I said to Crystal, you don't want me in the show anymore? And she said, no, Joe thought you might have been too old for it, and we've got Kieran McMurray. And I said, okay. I said, I wasn't upset about it, to be honest. It didn't bother me. Anyway, Kieran and her started rehearsing, and he didn't... something happened personally for him, so he had to pull out. And Joe rang me and said to me, would you like to do it? And I went, no. I said, no way. He said, you didn't want me before. Why am I good enough now? Stirred him up. But I was happy to do it. And anyway, so we put the show together, and the vision of that show, basically it was two people so a gentleman lives in a hut, a home in the Alaskan wilderness. This woman appears in the middle of the night in a wedding dress, frantic, freezing, and it's a snowstorm outside, so they're stuck together in this hut that he owns and lives in. And he works away, comes back and stays there. So she's arrived into this home. And it's the dynamics between those two throughout.
Yeah.
The tussle of finding out who each person is and why they're both there. And the story, without giving too much away, culminates in him telling her about he's there because he'd had a child who had died, and through an accident that he thought he could have prevented, and she's there because she didn't want to get married to the gentleman. She actually left him at the altar, and it's really quite a compelling story about people and how they deal with their issues in life, and it was really well received. And the big thing about it was we built this set. Joe actually built the set. We put it all together. We filled it with old furniture and bits and pieces of stuff I had in my shed, and ornaments, and a camp bed with and it just, the set actually had fake snow around the outside of it.
Right, yeah.
People would walk in and think cold, and that's what we wanted them to feel.
Yeah.
I think from there they were in the mood for it. and just we had people saying, I mean, it went for about, I think it was an hour and 10 minutes, and we had people saying, like at the end of it, I looked at my watch and couldn't believe we'd been sitting there that long. I thought I was only there for 5 minutes.
Wow.
Which is a compliment.
Yeah.
It means you've got their attention all that time. So
Yeah.
it got really well received. A few people didn't like it, but that's normal. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
Joe got the best out of me. I was only talking to someone last night, performing is a passion. Some people don't understand it, you know. I mean, I played soccer all my life as a kid.
Yeah.
From, 4 right through till I was 38, on and off different times. But I gave up acting for 18 years, but never gave up soccer. I can count on one hand, maybe a few more fingers, how many times I really enjoyed a soccer match.
Right.
Playing it. But performing, you probably remember the bad ones because all of it is normally pretty good. Normally you're really enjoying yourself. Not always. Sometimes you go on stage and you come off thinking, well, I hope the audience didn't notice that.
Right. Yeah.
So I do it. Passion. It's really a passion that absorbs you. And I was telling this person last night that the time involved in playing soccer and getting in, training a couple of nights a week and playing on all day on a Saturday or a Sunday is probably the same as being in a show.
Right.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Thoroughly enjoy it.
You were recently in the sold-out Divine Interventions production of Beautiful at the Star Theatres. What was the show about?
Beautiful, the Carole King story was, the story of Carole King and how she came to write the Tapestry album, and her story from being a young girl going into music and through the years. Wow, what a story! Amazing. I think she was 16 when she started writing music. For Donnie Kirshner, which is the character I played, the record producer.
Right.
And it was a great story, great musical, and we had people every night singing along, every night, and people were reacting to, you'd hear the start of a song and people would go, oh, because they knew the songs.
Yeah.
Such an iconic album. David did a wonderful job. A great cast for that. And the little rumour is that we might be bringing it back again.
Uh-huh. That's exciting.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We've been talking about it. There's been some speculation, and fingers crossed it's going to happen.
Brendan, you've not only done lots of theatre, you've also done some short films recently, and you've been working with a rising filmmaker by the name of Matthew Mayo McKay from One Manor Productions, Tale of the Laundry Game and Tooth for Tooth, to name a few. As an experienced actor, how was it working with such a young filmmaker?
It's a great experience. Young Matthew has definitely come along through each show and become a better director. The first time I sort of worked with him, you'd look across him and say, "Are you happy with that?" And he'd just go, "Oh, yeah." And then the next time I worked with him, he would come up to me and say, "Oh, Brendan, can you do this when you do that?" And so he's. I said to him a couple of times, "You need to come out of your shell and start directing, really." But we're all, at 15. Who knew what they really wanted, to do? He does.
Absolutely.
He does. Unbelievable. He's so focused on making movies and producing and directing, and he's going to be, a talent if he gets the right opportunities. Actually, I worked with him last week on a short film.
Right.
A new one that he's doing, and I had a sort of short role as a dad in there, and he was telling me that just before COVID had sort of come along, he was supposed to go to America to help out on a film.
Wow.
And he had to cancel it because obviously he can't fly.
What a shame.
But he said he'll get back there. So he's obviously getting recognition. And those things can only make him a better director, can't they?
That's right, yes. Yeah. He's
a very talented young man.
I agree. And what was your character in Tooth for Tooth?
I was my character's name was Harmony, and Harmony was a drag queen. You don't actually see me dressed as a drag queen. You do see some makeup, and in the story that I get infected, bitten by let's say, vampire and such. I became a vampire drag queen. How cool is that?
Jay, hun, just wait a bit. I've got one more performance and then I can give you a lift. It's not safe.
There's no one around. I'll just message you when I get home, alright? What are you doing?
There's something... No, Jay, no!
Pretty cool. All right. Thank you. And mate, I believe you've done a bit of stand-up comedy in your day. Is this right?
I've done it a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah. How was that for you?
That was the most harrowing experience of my life. Yeah.
Right.
I've done it, I think, 4 times now. And 3 of them have been okay. And 1 of them was, like, abysmal. Like, so bad. It was, like, embarrassing.
Must be a terrifying thing to do.
It is terrifying, yeah. I've probably never been so nervous in my life. I think the thing is and it's the same with acting, if you know your lines, then you're okay. You know you'll get through them.
Yeah. Brendan, you've also done some directing in town with a number of different companies. Did you find that your experience as an actor informed your directing?
Yeah, the first time I directed, I said to the guys that were the actors, I said, listen, you're the actors, you act. I said, I'm going to stand here and sort of go, I think you should go there and maybe here so we can, get some substance going with the stage and working out where you're going to be. And then we'll work on some of the delivery. And my first experience directing was Jamie Hornsby was in the show.
Right.
And I didn't need to direct someone like Jamie. He's so talented. I remember he's obviously been on Inside the Stage Door. What a talent!
Yeah,
amazing. Like I always remember saying to him, there was a moment I was going to tell him where he should go and what he should do, and I looked at him. I said, Jamie, and he goes, "Yeah, you want me to do this and this and this?" I went, "Yeah." I didn't even need to say it. I said, "You already knew it." That's how talented he is. He should be doing a lot of directing as well because he's got a great vision.
Yeah.
And some of his writing, I went and saw his play, The Fringe, was that last year or the year before? Wow. Amazing.
Very talented writer, yeah. Brendan, it's a very unstable, unsure time for a lot of people at the moment. For young people looking to enter the industry, what would be your advice?
Go for it. I think that if you're passionate about this industry, then you just need to go for it. It's a fickle industry. It's one of those industries where you will not have any real security unless you probably make it and have some money behind you so that you can relax a little bit. But really, just go for it and give it your best shot. Okay,
so go for it.
Go for it is my advice, and give it your best shot. But always be aware that success isn't like being in a Hollywood movie. That's a form of success. But success is also being paid to do what you love. That's success.
Yes.
And a lot of people are probably finding out, especially actors, are finding out that you need to create a lot of your own stuff as well to be, successful. But don't expect to make lots of money. I don't know what they teach in Flinders or AC Arts, but I think kids coming through, they see fame as the ultimate. But I know I just want to be paid to do what I love, and it would be great to be able to do that.
Great. Brendan, what's your favourite film?
I like Total Recall.
Yes. Yeah.
The special effects for the time were just phenomenal.
Can you give us a few lines from the film?
I got 5 kids to feed. And then I think Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "You told me you had 4 kids." Oh, I forget how many kids I had. It was great. It was some classics.
Yeah, based on a really good Philip K. Dick short story.
Yes.
Yeah.
It certainly was. Yeah. Yeah.
Brendan Cooney, what's one of the funniest things that's ever happened to you on stage?
Working working with Damon in Bob's Your Auntie, and his character had passed out, and we were trying to dress him up in a dress, and he was leaning over the couch, and Kyla and I were laughing so much that we couldn't dress Damon, who was supposed to be passed out. So he stood up and he said, "I'll do it myself." And he we couldn't get the dress on him, is what it was. And that's what we were laughing at. And he put the dress on himself and just leaned back down and fell over the couch like he passed out again. The audience were cracking up. They just thought it was hilarious.
Great.
Yeah. Quick, another one, just the other year with Red Phoenix, there was a scene, I was supposed to go on crying as my character because, my mother had passed away. And the guys were doing a scene before that, and someone walked off that I normally see just before, and I looked at them and I said, "Am I on?" And they just nodded. I don't think they understood what I said, and I walked on crying in the wrong scene. And I'm crying, and I'm still having my hand like this, and I'm looking across at them and the other actors, and they all started freaking out. And Lindsay Dunn, being the consummate actor that he is, looked over and said, "He'll be all right in a minute." And I realised that I was on at the wrong time, so walked back off. And they continued, and then poor Lynn Wilson, she came off stage and she got changed into her next costume, and then realised that she was supposed to be in the same costume. Because what I did, it distracted her so much that she got all flustered, and there was a panic for her to get back into the costume she'd taken off.
Oh, it's the magic of live theatre, isn't it?
Again, that's why I love it. I love it.
Just finally, mate, do you believe the arts are important to society?
Very much so, yes, because it gives people a voice. It's important to hear people's stories, Art, it's theatre, film. It's very important. I think a lot of the members of the public see it as a bit of an egotistical way of making a living. People love themselves, but it's not true. We just want to perform because it's our passion.
Yep.
Just like someone wants to be a painter, or someone wants to be a doctor. They're passionate about that. We've got some fantastic actors in this country, and we tell some great stories. I think it's a fantastic form, and so many people have so many great stories. And we don't need to make action movies. That's not we can still do that, but it's not our forte. That's for sure. We don't have the money, do we?
No, that's right. Yep. Brendan Cooney, you've been an absolute joy to talk to this evening on Inside the Stage Door. Thank you for your authenticity and your answers.
Thank you for having me.
I've been James McCluskey Garcia from Reading Companions Australia. I'd like to thank our regular contributors, Ipskip Productions, Teppo Films, Tempo for Two Productions, and All Pro Audio. And don't forget to like and share our page to find out future guests. Thanks for watching.